This is episode 146 of Seddy Bimco, Part 2, The Revenge. And this week, later, from West Virginia, we're going to watch Teenage Strangler from 1964. And with us this week is Kevin Kablasto.
That's right.
From the Sometimes Spaghetti and Freddy show. If Yoli, come back, edit some episodes.
I think if we're talking numbers, I'm probably more of the Seddy Bimco co-host. We might be outnumbering the episodes that were recorded.
Well, let's get to the theme song. That's what people want to hear.
That's right.
You can't get to the theme song until I ask an age-old question. You know that?
Oh, God. Why do I forget this every time? But go ahead.
So we're going to visit Huntington, West Virginia. That's where the movie was filmed that we're going to talk about tonight.
Okay.
And did you know Charlie Chaplin once shot one of his earliest films in Huntington, West Virginia?
I know nothing about West Virginia.
That town once, in the 40s, they had a who can grow the best Charlie Chaplin mustache contest.
Oh, no.
And did they ever get revenge on that Mr. Adolf Hitler who showed up and ran off with first prize? He didn't win it. He just ran off of it.
It's Seddy Bimco, Part 2, The Revenge. The show where we create revenge sequels that nobody wanted.
It's Seddy Bimco, Part 2, The Revenge, where we make revenge sequels to movies that didn't have them. And we're on a tour of the 50 thrifty United States. This week, we're talking about West Virginia. But first, Mr. Kablasto's here.
I certainly am. I'm back again. See, I was going to introduce...
You sound so excited.
Yeah, it's a nonstop thrill ride of fun and excitement over at Seddy Bimco. I'm here in the studio again. Something just ran over my foot.
Hope it's a cat. Hope it's not a trolley car.
Yeah. Anyway.
This movie was filmed in 1964.
Jesus, Tim. You can't get a word in. Just keep going.
You stopped talking for 2 seconds, so I just...
I know. Okay, keep going.
I'm going to ask you, how many years before Star Wars did this movie come out? Do you know?
I don't know what year this movie came out. I was
1964. 1 year after JFK was assassinated, and it's the year the Beatles showed up on Mr. Ed Sullivan.
Wait.
1964.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Oh. You are. I had to run the full date through my head. 11/22/63.
Well, this is 13 years before Star Wars changed the world.
Okay. And it certainly did. If you join our Discord, you'll see that Tim, in rapid succession, was posting clips proving how Star Wars changed the world.
Join our Discord.
Yeah,
Kevin is our IT person. Just contact him. He'll tell you how to get into this Discord.
Yeah, and when Tim...
There's new people. Let's say hi to the new people.
Yeah, hello.
One guy's named Jim. I don't know the rest of his name.
You're the worst.
Shout out to Jim. I don't remember the odd names people create for themselves online.
That's fine. I don't think they have yet in that group.
Except for Kablasto. That one's easy.
I think Art joined us as well.
Art? Welcome, Art.
These are people that they're like rats abandoning the sinking ship that is Bat and Spider.
Are you going to join in on our war while George isn't here?
I didn't know anything was going on, Tim. So I'm just saying what's in my heart.
Well, last week we started a war with Bat and Spider to drum up publicity for ourselves.
Is it a one-sided war?
I don't know.
Are they aware of anything that's happening?
I don't listen to Bat and Spider.
I
have no problem taking naps. I don't need their help going to sleep.
There you go.
Did you know?
Tim? Probably not.
In 1978.
Oh, sure.
Eva Gabor and Jay Leno joined forces to create a sitcom called Almost Heaven, and the pilot exists on YouTube. And I'm going to post that on the Discord. I'm going to create a new Discord channel called Unmade Shows, pilots that were never sold.
Sure.
Can you picture that? Zsa Zsa Gabor and Jay Leno.
Okay. You butchered her name initially, so I did not know. I thought you were... I thought it was...
Eva Gabor. Eva Gabor.
That's what you said. I don't know who that is.
You do too.
I know who Zsa Zsa is.
Who's she? Is she the one that slapped the police officer? She got a ticket? Or was that Eva?
Sure, Tim. I don't know. I only know one of them.
Well, one of them slapped a police officer.
Okay? Reminder for the
and
audience.
one of them was on Green Acres. So.
Tim is 167, so he's drinking blood as we speak. So to stay young, mentally he's stuck in the. How many years ago was that? 80.
But
yeah,
you're missing my point. Eva Gabor, Jay Leno,
yes.
Also the man from the Airplane movie, the main actor. I forget his name. He was in it.
Mr. Airplane.
Yep, Mr. Airplane.
Yeah.
He did not have a mustache.
Okay.
Mustaches are the theme because there were no mustaches in this movie.
So wait, what the hell were you even just talking about with this pilots that didn't get made? It was a real thing.
It was a real thing.
Was this what you were watching
Yes.
when I joined?
Yes.
Okay. Of course it was. Of course it was. Otherwise, yeah. Okay. It's just complete madness.
TV, they just throw anything at the wall. Eva Gabor, Jay Leno.
No, they apparently not because it didn't get picked up.
Yeah. You know where they worked?
Where?
In heaven. They were angels helping people.
I don't think I've even seen Jay Leno try to act.
No, I guess. Oh, wait. No. Because it was Joe Piscopo who appeared season 1 of Star Trek to show Data what humor is.
Oh, my God.
That dated well, right?
I forgot about that. Yeah. Oh, that was amazing.
Should have been Pee-wee. That should have been what was in the holodeck.
Oh, man. Speaking of Star Trek, if you like Star Trek, I swear we talk about Star Trek more than anything in the freaking Discord. Just delete all the other channels. Delete the channels relating to the show.
Well, people, season 1 of Star Trek Next Generation, Data wanted to know what humor was, so they created Joe Piscopo in the holodeck. Come on.
It's all the budget could afford. So,
but that means 200 years from now, when people think of humor, they think Joe Piscopo.
We're how many years out?
He
from
changed
that show?
humor in
88.
Yeah. Not Richard Pryor. He should have showed up.
Sure.
Done some.
Rodney Dangerfield
Talked about setting himself on fire doing drugs. That Data would have been.
Right.
Data would have learned a lesson about humor then.
Rodney Dangerfield talking about what was it? Meet Wally Sparks.
Who's Wally Sparks?
That's a movie that Rodney Dangerfield.
I never knew that one.
Yes, he's got a lot of great movies.
Well,
what's the one? There's the dog one too.
Caddyshack.
No, I don't want to talk about the good ones.
Dog one.
Yeah, there's the one where he's a dog. Rover Dangerfield.
Oh no, was that animated?
Yes.
Or did he turn into a dog? Okay.
No, it was animated from 1991.
Nice.
So, yeah, there's a whole.
Who animated? Was this Hanna-Barbera?
No, Tim. Was Hanna-Barbera even doing animation in 1991?
Yes, I believe so.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay. Was it Warner Brothers or Hanna-Barbera at that point?
Hanna-Barbera are an animation studio. I don't know if Warner Brothers acquired them.
Okay. Anyway.
Who else could have taught Data humor? Come on.
Okay, let's see. It's definitely not this podcast. I would say Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I would say
Dave Chappelle. Maybe he'd show up.
Sure. I would say.
Oh, Bill Cosby. Oh, imagine if they got Bill Cosby on that episode.
Oh, that's so good. So good. So yeah, the Cosby Show, you talked about on a previous episode how.
No, I didn't.
Cosby you didn't? Show? Oh, you know what? Maybe it was 70 millimeter.
Might have been.
Maybe it was Bat and Spider.
Yeah, Bat and Spider talks about.
Are you sure?
They're big fans of Bill Cosby, I hear. Okay. Even today.
Yeah, they are. They say Cosby was innocent.
Yes.
Yes, bring Cosby back. Yeah.
It was all set up.
Cosby didn't do anything I wouldn't do.
I think they're watching Leonard Part 6 next week.
Yeah, we've all been there. That's what the shirt say. Yeah. So.
Well, before we get to our movie, since Kablasto's here, I want to say, do you need old records or new records? You like CDs? You like to shop where Kevin Kablasto shops? Shop at Needle Drop Records in Rochester, New York. Only closed on Mondays because, hey,
and Wednesdays.
We all suffer from a case of the Mondays.
but also they're closed on Wednesdays, so whatever.
Oh, we all suffer a case of the Wednesdays.
There you go.
1780 Monroe Avenue, Brighton, New York.
You looked up their address.
Mention Seddy Bimco and get no discount.
Yes, you actually get 10%. It costs 10% more. Yes. Tariffs.
Mention Bat and Spider, get kicked out.
That's right.
So West Virginia.
Uh-huh.
I did the work for you. George looks up all these facts.
Oh, I tried.
Yeah? What happened?
I failed miserably. So, first of all,
the information of the world is available at our fingertips, and you can find out a fact.
So there's a West Virginia, right?
Yeah.
Are you with me so far?
I'm with you.
There's no East Virginia.
No, there's not.
It's very confusing.
We'll get to that.
When I did a puzzle as a child, where you put all the states in, West Virginia was always the one that I said looked like a tooth. It kind of with the roots and everything.
Yeah. Yep.
Other than that, that's what other facts do you need to know?
It's a landlocked state. Population consists of 1,700,900 people, roughly.
Are we going to
that sound right?
Sure.
About 50,000 mustaches.
Are we going to do what George did and compare everything to Brooklyn?
Yeah, that's the amount of people who live there that live on my block.
Yeah.
The amount of mustaches there, they're all in Williamsburg here in Brooklyn. And you know what?
What?
George and I don't have meetings. We should have meetings. If you have a podcast, you should have meetings. Because I just realized I just realized something great we could have done with every state.
Okay.
Go ahead. Look up the strange laws. We just started this a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know this, Kablasto. You listen. So strange laws in West Virginia. I looked up. And these all say was. I kind of wonder, are they still? I didn't look into it any further. Roadkill. Roadkill, Kevin. It was illegal to take roadkill home for dinner in West Virginia. I don't know if it's legal now, but they said was.
Okay.
Red or black flags. It was illegal to own a red or black flag in West Virginia. These are real. I'm not making these up, people.
You're not that creative. So why red or black?
I didn't look into it.
Oh, okay.
It was illegal for clergy to tell jokes or humorous stories from the pulpit during church services in Nicholas County.
What if they just stepped in front of it?
Maybe that's okay. Maybe.
Yeah, okay. Huh.
Well, priests, they tell the worst jokes. I think they're just like, let's put a stop to this. Right? You want to hear a good joke, you go to a synagogue in Brooklyn. Right?
Okay. I thought you were going to say like a priest walks into a bar and or something with a choir boy or something.
That's too easy. Too easy.
Okay.
We don't go for the easy jokes here.
We go for the bad ones.
I cross them out. I put them all in an envelope. I address it to Bat and Spider. I say, here you go. Here's our leftovers.
Wait, I just realized, when did you stop doing the thing where you pulled the little slip of paper out of your bedpan?
That's because Bat and Spider, they had a cease and desist order that they own that. So we can't do that.
That's right. That's right. They get all the material out of a bedpan.
They do now.
So they pull it out. Yes.
Okay, here's my last one.
Okay.
It was illegal to snooze on a train. I have no idea what that means. I'm not sure why.
Bizarre.
Maybe dreaming is actually illegal in West Virginia, and they thought that was a way to stop it. Or if you fell asleep on a train in West Virginia, you would wake up in New York and like hear a funny joke at a synagogue, and you're like, oh, and you never go home because you find out it's much more fun in Brooklyn.
If you do want to snooze on a train in West Virginia, just put on an episode of Bat and Spider.
Yes.
There you go.
You know who made money in West Virginia when that law was around?
Who?
The person who makes those glasses that makes it look like your eyes are open. You just put them on your face and sleep on the train.
Good.
The whole train is full of those.
Everyone's constantly staring. Yeah, so...
We do the flag. I'll do the flag. Sorry. It takes forever to get to the movie.
No one cares. The movie's garbage.
The flag...
Spoiler alert.
Again, the flag and the seal, like many states, lazy states, it's the same, except one is in color, one's in black and white. Their flag has a man with an axe and a man with a pick, and they're just standing there. And
why does everyone do that?
And their guns are laying on the ground. And one has a big mustache. Told you. A lot of mustaches.
You could be making this up.
No.
I'm not. Okay.
The old seal used to be depict a man snoozing on a train. But they changed it. They had to change it because that was encouraging people to snooze on trains.
Oh, and it was red and black. Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking at this. It says June 20th, 1863.
Mm-hmm.
It says Montani, Semper, Liberi.
Yes. Libertine.
And one man is shirtless with a vest on, bulging pants. And then the other one looks like clergy, basically. Yeah.
He's telling a joke.
Yes. And also he has his hand placed on some sort of wooden thing coming out from his crotch. The whole thing is very sexually suggestive.
It is. It's a strange.
So, yeah.
They're not breaking any laws. That's all I can say. No red or black flags. They're not eating roadkill.
Well.
The movie.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the movie. Well, here's what the movie's about.
Okay, go ahead.
A serial killer.
I have a lot of questions.
A serial killer is on the loose, baffling policemen. The main suspects are mostly a gang of street racers, with one of them, Jimmy, never having an alibi. Even though he's innocent, a can of worms opens. A can of worms opens. Yeah, they wrote it that way. That's wrong. Can of worms opens as Jimmy's life is thrown into chaos.
Is this an official synopsis,
Yes.
not your own? Okay.
Why write one? I like to see what's online, how little sense it makes.
Time to go. I envision you. Wife, I'm going to go online.
Yes.
See what is on there today. Yes.
I found an unsold pilot with Jay Leno and Eva Gabor. They work in heaven. They're angels.
She just claps for you. Yes.
What was his? He doesn't have a catchphrase. It's just the way he talks.
Who, Jay Leno?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the way he talks.
It was Piscopo who was, I'm from Jersey. You from Jersey?
And also it was Little Joe sure can sing that would be like, okay, all right.
Who?
Well, that's also Tarantino. You know, Joe Pesci had he had a music career as well.
Was he?
Little Joe sure can sing.
We could be making this up. Did he have a sitcom?
No.
With Bob Denver?
It was mainly from the Lethal Weapon films that his character had. It's just like his catchphrase was just saying like, okay, all right.
I never caught Lethal Weapon fever. I have to admit to you. I think
you should go back.
I watched one on VHS when it came out. I remember they jumped and you think they're going to die, but they had inflated the giant airbag. They jumped from a building.
Spoiler alert. Also,
that's all I remember. And I think we saw Gibson's butt naked.
We did?
Yes, if you watch that movie.
I think it was just you, Tim. You are an artist, so you would just draw in your own frame.
Did he live in a boat?
Sure. Also, did you know that when Danny Glover's character would say, I'm too old for this shit? I think he was 41 or 42.
Yep, I know that. I've seen memes.
Yep. That's all you need to know.
The people of this movie never did anything else. I clicked on their buttons and like all of them were in three other things.
Okay. Was this a theatrical release?
Yes. Locally kind of made in West Virginia. I don't know why. Couldn't find much else about it.
It was 62, you said?
64.
64.
The year after JFK shot, the year the Beatles showed up on Ed Sullivan and shook the world, America.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've got a Beatles reference in this movie. So.
We do.
Yeah, and a JFK reference.
We'll try to. Yeah. Well, let's go through the movie a little bit.
Okay.
Anything important?
So, yeah, the janitor was the murderer.
Hey, what if everybody's going to turn off the podcast now?
Good. Well, now they need to know why. Typically, you have motive. So, what genre would you say this film is, Tim?
It is teen. It's teen genre, just teen B movie.
It is, because I expected it to be a horror movie. Once again, the name of the movie is Teenage Strangler.
And I wondered, will it be a person who strangles teenagers or a teenager strangling people?
I was wondering the same thing. Turns out it's people strangling teenagers, and I believe it's only two people that get strangled.
Three.
Three do? Yep. Okay.
But we start out with I just want to describe our characters. Anne.
You do whatever you want.
Anne and Betty and Jimmy are our main characters. Betty is smooching with Jimmy. She's forbidden to be seeing him, and Anne is hanging out so that Betty can say she was with Anne and not smooching her boyfriend. And they're like, oh, we got to go before someone sees us smooching. And the janitor, his name is Mr. Wilson.
Yes, Mr. Wilson.
He shows up and he's like
from Dennis the Menace.
Yep, I better walk you girls home. And he goes to throw away some pencil shavings, and they're like, I don't know if we should walk with him. Let's just run. I don't know why they're running already. Are there supposed to have been murders they're afraid of? But they run home. They're like,
if there was a murder, that would have been the third one that happens off screen.
What I mean is, do they think there's a murderer around?
Or it's just because the janitor taught them.
But they just run home. They're like, let's go that way.
Is West Virginia known for murders?
I think so.
Okay.
But you'd think they know where they're going. It's a small town. She says, let's go that way. And they run. And they run and they run.
Also, they're making out in like an alleyway.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to be the school. It's a brick wall.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I know what you mean. Okay. It's a brick wall.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's a school in West Virginia. A brick wall. Sorry.
It's not far off from where I went to school. But anyway.
Rochester.
Yeah, the style. Lots of bricks here. Yes, continue.
Anyway, they run down an alley, and Anne's like, I can't run anymore. I'm so worn out. But they're teenagers. You'd think they'd have lots of energy, right?
Yeah.
Come on. Why does she need to rest? You know why she's so tired?
Her neck is sore.
Yeah, her neck is sore? Why is her neck sore, Anne?
She's getting strangled.
Wait, before she gets strangled, I want to know why she's so tired.
Oh, if only there's a list.
If only there's a list.
Yes.
Well, she's tired of telling people that East Virginia does exist.
That's good.
She's tired of...
I thought it was a list of one. Okay,
she's tired of trying to get people to join her Pete Best fan club. Okay.
Pete Best?
1964. She's like,
okay.
He's the drummer of the Beatles.
What?
Well, he was. He was a few years before this.
Jesus. Yes.
She's tired of competing with Veronica in order to be friends with Betty. Okay?
That's good.
Because Betty's her friend.
That's an Archie reference. George is so pissed now that you're mentioning comics.
Yeah, then she gets strangled by someone in a leather jacket, and her friend Betty just screams and runs away. Doesn't help her. Mm-hmm. What a friend.
I do the same.
To me, right?
Yes.
Did you notice there was a dog in that yard wagging its tail?
Yes.
Okay.
Looking very happy.
They couldn't shoot that again?
Oh, okay, hold on. I actually have something of interest. Did you know that in most films, nowadays, they have to CG out dogs' tails because dogs are constantly shaking their tails because they're excited that they're doing the scene correctly.
Really?
Yeah, for real.
Oh.
They have to. Yeah, so a lot of dogs will have tails that are done in post, so they're not happily wagging. I
thought you meant it was just like random dogs in movies wagging their tails. The way you said that. Like, really? Random dogs?
No, they typically won't have a random dog. It'll be a dog who's, come over here, an actor dog. Actor.
That's why we don't see Tom Cruise's tail. They CG it out all the time.
That's right.
Wow. So, now I know.
Yeah. That's why if you see a dog in Hollywood and its tail's been cut off, now you know. I had to go there.
Made it sad.
Yep.
So she's found dead, and like the whole town's looking at it. Crime scene. She's been strangled with a.
She's wrapped in plastic.
Yeah, just like
they find her by the old mill.
Yes. She washed up on this landlocked.
Fellas, don't drink that coffee. There is a fish in the percolator.
That's right.
Yeah. R.I.P. David Lynch.
R.I.P.
I don't think you guys mentioned it. I think Bat and Spider mentioned it.
Well, that's because they felt bad. He died listening to their podcast, I think. I think they caused it.
That's what caused him to take his life.
Yes.
So I know he had emphysema, and he had posted that. It's like having a bag over my head walking from one side of the room to the other. Then he listened to Bat and Spider, and he actually tried it out.
So
okay.
She died because she had a stocking, and she's got a red X on her head and lipstick.
Yes.
And did I imagine this? Because I didn't rewind it because I didn't want to see this twice. The policeman was there looking at the body. Did someone laugh off camera?
Oh.
Did you hear that?
The policeman's pants were off. Yes, that was correct.
Yes.
No, I didn't.
You didn't
Did
either.
you watch this on Tubi?
Yeah.
I did too. I didn't hear the laughter.
I'm going to check that out. I think someone laughed and they're like, no, we're not reshooting this.
I was too busy gasping at the dead body. And by the way, this film, very tame.
Very tame.
Which is also why I was asking what genre you would say.
But I like the hairstyles. Jimmy is not a teenager.
By the way, Tim wears wigs.
I do.
For those who wonder about him mentioning the hairstyles, he's going to his wig assist and asking if they can match the hairstyles in this movie.
I'm going to my mustache assist. I'm wearing the mustaches.
Did you know that Tim is short for Timberly? So that's his professional name if you want to look him up.
This town had another mustache contest. They had a Mark Twain mustache contest.
Oh, yeah?
And
Winford
Brimley's mustache showed up and stole the award.
That's weird that you mentioned that because that was literally the only fact I had about West Virginia.
The Mark Twain mustache contest?
No. Did you know that West Virginia is the final resting place of Mark Twain?
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
I found that.
Oh, well, you didn't mention it. So I figured someone should mention it.
So he does mention there's been 2 other murders, just like in other places. Other towns, it sounds like. Anyway, we cut to a lady. She's got a poodle.
Oh, yeah.
She's very excited the police are coming over.
Yes.
She's the mom of Betty.
Her tail is wagging. They had to edit it out.
No CG back then.
Yeah, they had to remove it in post. So. They just had to strategically put a plant near her rear end.
Yes.
So you couldn't see her tail. So.
But this is Betty's parents, and Betty's mom is like so excited the police are coming over because her daughter saw her friend get murdered.
Yes.
And it's Mr. Anderson. He's the homicide detective. And
yes. Do you want to talk about how they very politely argued by getting their voices slightly louder than the other one?
Yeah, he says your daughter's been out all hours, and he says, well, it's your job. You're a cop. You got to protect my daughter. That stuff. It's just boring. It's boring.
But they use a lot of terminology of the time.
Like
it's not in the scene, but a later scene they say, by Jupiter?
Yes, that's Jimmy's dad. We'll get there.
Yeah, they talk like Tim, is what I'm saying.
And Betty's mom comes into the room every 5 minutes saying, you want coffee?
Yeah.
Want some of my coffee?
Yeah. When Tim has half a cup of a cream soda and he really lets loose, he starts talking like them in this movie. Yes.
She demands to see Betty, and Betty's like, what does she tell her? She's the one that says she maybe saw a jacket, right, with the bulldog?
Yeah, with the bulldog logo on the back.
And because she doesn't want to say she was with Jimmy. This whole dilemma. I can't. Does she say it, though, in this scene?
Yeah,
because then I think her dad then says,
"Yes,
by Jupiter, I told you not to hang out with that Jimmy. He's one of those hot rodders.
Yeah, he's one of those drag people.
Racers. Those drag people, always dressing up as a lady."
Yeah, exactly.
West Virginia hasn't changed.
He says, "By Yipe Stripes, I don't want you hanging out with him."
By Yipe Stripes.
Yes.
So here's what got me. We shift to the local hangout, whatever it is, a diner. There's no windows. It's a studio. There's no windows in this diner.
No, but it makes sense.
All the kids are having a ball, and they're just like, "Oh, Betty, sorry, your friend was strangled." Then they just go on like drinking sodas, dancing. Didn't you think it was odd?
Well, you know what?
You look at me with that blank stare.
Yeah, there's a reason. It's because it's called thinking. I'm thinking about it, and the reality is, if you watch the movie Scream, now Tim, that's a movie that came out after Star Wars.
Okay.
There's an opening scene where they're all sitting around like a fountain talking about one of their friends getting killed, and their reactions aren't that far off.
Is it a chocolate fountain?
No.
Okay. Well, Scream is a comedy, right?
No, you're thinking of Scary Movie.
Oh, okay.
That's the parody of it.
No, I'm thinking of Scary Godmother.
Jesus Christ. Did you
Scream,
know?
Scary movie.
Listen, since you're talking about chocolate.
Are you talking about The Frighteners? Is that what you're talking about? No, but come on. These kids are having a party.
I was just going to say something.
And they see Betty.
Or
Jimmy, who dates Betty. Like, hey, is Betty okay? And she saw Anne get strangled last night.
Listen.
And he's like, yeah, she's okay. Women.
Anyway, no one in. First of all, they're not actually children. Everyone in this movie is doing the 90210 thing.
Yes,
where
they're
all like 30. Yes,
except for Mikey. We'll talk about Mikey. He's Jimmy's little brother.
My God.
I think he's an actual child.
I think he is. We do have to talk about him.
The little kid in this movie. I think he was the little kid.
Okay, Mikey.
Yeah, I think it could have been Billy Barty's first role. I don't know. He might have been played by Billy Barty because he was a pretty good actor. But
we don't have George here to do his Billy Barty imitation.
Nope.
I'm trying to think. What would he say?
Don't make fun of him.
Yeah, don't tell. No, I just go to like Leprechaun.
Now you're being insulting.
I'm trying to think. Billy Barty was in, if I remember correctly, he was in
She-Freak.
Star Wars as R2-D2, right?
Sorry, nope. He lost that role.
Oh, okay. Okay, then I think he was in Willow. Is one of the guys that taught Willow. And I think in this movie...
He was a cameraman in Willow.
Yes. Val Kilmer is always complaining, don't shoot me so low.
So
yes.
Here we play the song that's in this movie because Mary, she gets on the counter.
Yes, she does.
She says, "Do you like the Beatles? Do you like Peter, Paul, and Mary? You like Paul Anka?
She's
Are you fans of the Zapruder film? Well, you're gonna like my act."
do you like Charlie Manson?
Yes. Too early. Too early.
Yeah. Well, she goes. Oh wait, you don't know that one yet, but your kids are gonna love it.
Yes. She was hanging out with the Beach Boys so that she met Charlie Manson.
Yeah.
You knew that, right?
Yeah.
He wrote a song.
Did you know I was quoting Back to the Future?
Yes.
Okay.
Back to the Future 1 or 2?
1.
Okay. Get them mixed up.
Yeah. Well, the second one comes after the first one. So
she sings a song called The Yipe Stripes.
I hate the song.
Yep. It's a good jingle if there was a product called the Yipe Stripes. If there was a drug.
Not. Yeah.
The song is all about how Yipe Stripes make you look thin, make your waist look little.
And it's about fashion.
Attract men. No, it's about being thin.
Yeah, but it's about wearing stripes, I thought.
That makes you look thin. Yipe Stripes are what the cats are wearing nowadays.
Yeah, did you know wearing stripes if you wear horizontal stripes, it makes you look heavier. If you wear vertical stripes, it makes you look thinner, right?
I'm just saying.
Although I think she's wearing horizontal stripes in the movie. So, yes.
Just saying, on point for ladies in 1963. Wear things that make you look thin.
Sure.
Agree with what men say. Don't talk back.
I'm going to edit what you're saying into a promo for the show right now. Take it out of context.
If your friend gets strangled, run away.
Yes.
So Anderson, he comes in, shuts this party down.
That's the policeman.
Yep. He wants to talk with David Schwimmer. There's a guy in this movie. He looks like David Schwimmer, who is his name is Marty.
He looks like digitally smoothed David Schwimmer. Yeah,
he is. He is the Marty McFly of this movie. He's like always picked on.
I can see that.
Yep. So the cop comes in because he wants to talk to the drag racers, who are called the fastbacks, but they have a bulldog on their jacket. Yeah. I don't understand that.
In a town this size, I'm sure you can only get so many patches for your jacket.
Well, I think in a town this size, they hired the worst marketing team. That I don't know.
Too. Also, it's not like it's a Greyhound.
Well, that's what you want.
For fastback, it said they have what was it, bulldog?
Yeah,
it's like
that's a slow dog.
Sense. Yeah, it is.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
The other racers, the dragsters, they took the turtle logo, so they took this one.
Good. you don't have a list of dogs that are faster than a bulldog?
No, it's obvious.
You don't have a list of animals that are faster than a bulldog?
That's easy. I sent that joke to Bat and Spider.
Okay, good. They'll appreciate it. I don't think Bat and Spider would ever have the gumption to cover this movie.
No.
Let me Google the word gumption because I wanted to say balls, but let's see.
In West Virginia, the word for balls
gumption.
is gumption.
Okay, yeah.
It's
but anyway,
singular.
Yes,
So it's confusing.
I don't think Bat and Spider would ever have
when someone in West Virginia goes to the doctor and it's like, doctor says, I have to remove one of your gumptions.
Right.
I know it doesn't make sense because gumptions, the plural, like moose.
That's okay. I still have two left. Yeah,
so they get taken to jail, interrogated. Where were you guys? And they're like all tough kids. They're drag racers. And he throws away the leader of the gang is Curly. He's like a mean bully leader of the road racers, and Anderson throws his cigarette in the trash. And I noticed when he walks away, he digs it out of the trash, puts it in his mouth, back in his mouth. Did you see that?
They didn't realize they were filming. So, yeah. Now, also, Curly is not to be confused with Curly from the story of Mice and Men.
No.
Who would keep one hand in a glove full of Vaseline so it would be soft for his lover.
No, don't confuse that with him.
Yes. And that's the number one comment I see on this movie is that people confuse that character with the classic literature character Curly.
Not to be confused with Curly from City Slickers, who was the titular protagonist. Was he protagonist or was he? I haven't seen that in a long time.
Not to be confused with Curly from the Marx Brothers.
No, he was the sixth Marx brother.
Yes,
he joined.
Yeah. He was the forgotten one. He's the one that in trivia they always get you with.
So anyway, some sort of admiral comes on TV. Did you notice this? Some admiral from the Navy.
Did I notice the events that happened in the movie? Yes.
He came on TV and he's like, "Everyone stay safe." What's he say? We'll be arresting anyone bearing an unlicensed weapon, like a red flag or a black flag. Also, no snoozing on the train.
Yeah. Also, anyone who has strangling hands,
yes, we will arrest you.
We're going to take it for questioning. If you walk around with your hands like this, which translates well to a podcast.
So Jimmy, this is where his dad says, "By Jupiter, we moved to a different town because you stole a bicycle." That's what he says.
Yes.
Did you? Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, everyone brings this up when they talk about this movie. Anyone else who talks about this movie always talks about the fact that the son stole a bike, so the father uprooted the entire family and moved them to a different town.
So yeah, Jimmy has to go to his room, and his dad says, "You're grounded. Got to go to your room and leave Mike."
By Jupiter.
Yes, by Jupiter. And leave Mikey alone because Mikey's his little brother. And I'm like, what's he do to Mikey usually? He seems to be okay with Mikey. But in the room, we learn Mikey says, "Gee, I got us in trouble because I was the one that stole the bike." And he's a little kid, so why would they think the older brother would steal a little kid's bike who is a race car driver, a drag racer anyway? So
Tim doesn't know how age works. But I think within this movie, I think there's supposed to be maybe 4 or 5 years between them.
He's a little kid. Mikey's the only kid in this movie, unless he was played by...
But he's probably supposed to be like 12. Yeah. So then maybe his brother's like, 17, 18.
Yeah.
So that would
Billy Barty makes him seem like he's 9 or something. I don't know.
So, okay. I was thinking about this.
Really?
While I was making a butter sandwich. Mm-hmm. It's where you fuck. While I was making an Oreo sandwich. Okay. So there we go. Use that. Did you know? Okay, so cookies and cream.
No Oreos this episode. No Oreos.
Hold on. Cookies and cream ice cream or cookies and cream milkshake, right? Mm-hmm. You've heard of it.
I've heard of it.
You have heard of it.
Yes.
Okay. I had this discussion with my significant other the other day that she pointed out how it was Oreo and cookies and cream.
Okay.
I never thought about that before.
Okay.
But have you ever thought about that?
I'm going to cut out this segment and send it straight over to Bat and Spider. Say, hey, here, you want this great segment?
You go ahead. I'm calling into them. I'm actually picking the phone up right now. I'm calling into them.
You write them letters. George was...
While we record, I do. They get so angry. It's so good. So anyway.
So Mikey admits he stole the bike, and he's like,
Oh, yeah. So you know who Mikey reminds me of? I was thinking about this.
Who?
Well, I was thinking of it's no one you know, but he reminds me about live action Millhouse from The Simpsons. I know you haven't seen that show, but there's other people who have seen that show. It's only been on for like 36 years.
He probably inspired them.
I don't know about that, but he reminds me of the similar type.
I do have another question about Mikey, though.
Yes.
The father says, go to your room and leave Mikey alone. And then Mikey comes to the door like, can I come in? There are 2 beds in this bedroom.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like it's Mikey's room. Why does Jimmy have 2 beds? Do they have a third brother? Maybe they moved because Jimmy killed a sibling. I don't know.
They had to trade a brother for a bicycle.
Maybe that's what they did.
Yes. In East
that's
Virginia.
Before they moved.
That's what you do in East Virginia. The third brother was wrapped in red and black flags.
Yes, he fell asleep on a train, maybe.
Yes, yeah, they fell asleep. And then the classic prank in Virginia of wrapping someone in red and black flags and then stuffing their mouth full of roadkill. Right. So, yeah. So anyway,
Mikey, he stole that bike.
Yeah.
He said, not only did I steal that bike, I feel bad. I told the kid I stole it from that I heard it's in the basement of the Alamo.
That's good. There's your Pee Wee reference. So spelling it out for the audience. Anyway, so yeah, he kicks him in the face.
Oh, he kicked the little brother in the face. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
What the hell, man?
I know, it's so weird. That's what you do to little brothers, right?
You clearly have no siblings, Tim.
I do. They're older though, so I got kicked in the face.
Okay, I did too, and I'm the youngest as well. So yeah,
you don't have to tell us that. We know.
No, that much is clear. I'm looking.
You still got the boot print on your face.
I'm looking at the 2 of us bespeckled and realizing that we are the Mikeys.
So
anyway,
Jimmy wants to get a note to Betty. He sends Mikey. Mikey goes over. Betty's mom says, "You wait here. I'll go get her." And Mikey just walks right in. So I was like, "Is Mikey the serial killer?"
And then she says something like, "There's a gentleman here to see you." And it's like, no, it's this little child.
The director's like, "Shh, pretend it's a child." I know it's Billy Barty. No, he's got a 5 o'clock shadow. So I don't know what the note says. She looks at it for 1 second and then crumbles it up. It's like, oh, he's taking the blame because they think that he could have strangled a woman because he doesn't want to say he was with Betty. So we got to help the people follow along at home. Well, the police are like, Jimmy, why didn't you tell us where you were? Maybe you strangled her, Anne. And Betty's like, tell him you were with me. It's okay.
The note says it was the janitor that actually did it. And it was paint smeared on the back of his jacket that looked like a Bulldog logo.
I will say right away, I'm like, it's the janitor, right? But during the movie, I'm like, obviously, are they going to make... Because Marty's a little bit of a weird guy. And I thought, are they going to do something interesting? It's Marty. Are they going to is it Mikey? He stole a bicycle.
Which one is Marty?
Marty is the dweeby guy that looks like David Schwimmer.
David Schwimmer. Okay.
He's the guy that's beat up a lot.
Wait.
What?
Are you sure his name's Marty?
Yeah.
Didn't you refer to him as a Marty McFly earlier?
Yes, but his name is Marty. That's why I said that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Do you want to check?
No, I don't care. No one does.
His name's Marty.
Let's just keep going.
So Curly, he's our villain. He's like a tough guy.
Yep.
He wanted to drag race with Jimmy. I don't know why he's at odds with Jimmy. They seem to all be in the same club.
Yeah. Maybe it's just Alpha Dog. They're fighting for supremacy.
Well, because Curly likes Betty. So Betty, right after witnessing her friend being strangled, she's out at the diner, this club they hang out at, drinking Cokes. And Curly, the club. And Curly,
it's supposed to be like Happy Days type place.
And Curly shows up. He's like, "Come on, Betty, I want to take you out." And they're all like, "Come on, she just saw her friend get murdered." And Curly's like, "Come on, isn't that a turn on? I want to take you out, show you a good time." And
he's like, "Come on, we'll only get to third base. Come on."
Well, he had a big plan to cheer her up after seeing her friend get murdered. You know what his plan was?
Reanimate the corpse?
No. First, he's going to take her to a movie. It was called the movie's called Funeral for a Friend. Then he's going to take her out to make out with her at Dead Woman's Curve. And then they're going to go to his house to watch that new episode of Gilligan's Island in which Ginger gets strangled by Mr. Howell. So,
Good.
but they get mad at him, and this is where he gets in kind of a fight with Marty. He just he pushes him against the wall and like shoves him in a chair. And did you see how terrified Marty looked?
Yeah. And and he's like, I could just strangle you like I strangled those other people. I mean,
and put lipstick on your head.
Yes, exactly.
But the owner of the store breaks it up, tells him to get out and to pay his 30 cents for his 3 drinks.
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to do a Kevin Kablasto currency kerner?
Only if you can create a new theme song.
Nope, you got to share it.
Okay, I'm going to do it just to spite George.
What do 3 drinks cost today? I assume Cokes. Because he paid 30 cents for 3 drinks.
This is 1964, correct?
Yeah.
So that would be worth 30 cents in 1964, adjusted for inflation.
Well, let me guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
3 Cokes, $15.
Nope. No, it's not the price of Coke.
It had to
it's
be.
the 30 cents
I know.
adjusted. So it is $3.06.
That can't be. I can't get 3 Cokes for that.
No, you can't.
They were drinking Coke or Pepsi. Come on, they weren't like drinking water.
Yeah, but the price.
That's weird.
It's not the. You don't know how money works. I forgot.
Come on.
Tim doesn't know how ages work. He doesn't know how money works. He doesn't know how the internet works.
You paid a nickel back then for a Coke. Today, in New York, it's at least $5. I don't know if you go to a bar and order a Coke. You probably do.
You can get, if you go to a diner and you get a Coke, you can probably get it from between $3 to $5.
Yeah.
How much did you say?
$5 in New York at a bar.
Okay. Yeah. Well, at a bar, but this is more like a diner.
Oh, you go to Denny's. I know. For your birthday?
No.
That's where you go for your birthday, right?
No, I don't go to. I go out of the ma and pa diners.
You get a free dinner at Denny's if it's your birthday. Come on.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Take your significant other out there when it's her birthday. Take her.
A buddy of mine took me to Denny's around my birthday.
And you didn't get free?
I know. And I had to say to him, I didn't even know we had a Denny's. So we had to go to like a bad part of town just to go to this damn Denny's. So maybe that's the reason why. Maybe he was like, I'll pay the bill for your birthday.
That's nice. Nice friend.
Well, I don't know about that. Anyway,
you should have taken it to Needle Drop Records.
It's true.
Open every day except Monday because they got the case of the Mondays.
And Wednesday.
Because they're home watching
Gilligan's
Lost.
Island.
I don't know what's on Wednesday. I forget.
I love how even your current references are dated.
So
I know you watch modern shows
Marty?
too. That's the thing. Yes, go on.
Marty the Runt.
Yes.
And his lady friend, I don't know her name. He walks the girl home.
Matilda.
She needs to be walked home because she's 30. Yeah.
Yep.
And they go to her house and he's like, hey, your parents aren't home. Maybe I could come in. She's like, no. So
maybe we can listen to Yipe Stripes.
We can listen to Yipe Stripes.
Who was that woman?
Well, I don't know. It doesn't matter because she goes inside.
Yes.
And
no, not this woman. Who was the Yipe
Mary.
Stripes
Her
woman?
name was Mary. I think half the reason this movie was made was so she could perform that song.
That's the point I was getting to. Yeah. Because
she didn't care.
That character.
Nope, she's not in the rest of the movie.
That's what I'm saying. Oh my God. This entire movie
She's saying it again. She's like, Yipe Stripes.
Yeah.
Wear it if you want to get murdered. Stuff like that. No, that wasn't good. Yeah. I can't trust you if you say that's good.
Good, Tim. That's your best joke yet.
So
I think you should run all of your professional work by me before you submit it to your editor.
She doesn't let him in, and this is 4 years after Psycho. So she goes into the shower.
Oh yeah,
and they don't even try to shoot it like Psycho. I thought they were gonna.
Yeah, this is weird.
But she turns on the radio, and maybe this was an allusion to Psycho. Are you going to say what I'm going to say?
No, I'm definitely not going to say the same
she
thing
turns
as
the radio on, and then the killer sneaks in and turns the radio up, and she's like, Mom, is that you turning up the Beatles? Yeah. You know, Mom, it was the mother that came to kill Marion in the shower.
Was it really?
Spoilers for this, 100-year-old movie. Well, I'm just saying, maybe the director was like, that was the one clever thing.
Spoilers for Psycho. It was the mother that was the murderer.
Yes. Anyway.
Wink, wink, wink.
We don't see any of this. She just screams.
You're talking about the movie with Vince Vaughn, right?
Yeah.
Psycho? Okay. That's a movie we all know. So I have to say this.
What?
I looked away for a second, heard the voice in the shower, and I literally thought it was Mikey.
Yes, it wasn't the same voice. It wasn't her.
No,
Nope.
it wasn't. It sounded like a teenage boy.
Why'd you look away? She was getting undressed. I figured you were trying to freeze frame it here.
Yeah, I was trying to pause it at just the right moment.
She showed her ankles.
Yep.
You're into 35-year-old ankles.
I had to upload it to my my OnlyFans. So yeah. Okay. So we've got Marty and this lady, and then she's in the shower.
Dead. We're past that.
Okay.
Catch up, Kevin.
Okay.
Now Jimmy is in his room. He's tired of sitting there.
Okay.
He only has the January 1964 issue of Playboy to read. And he's tired of it.
And he gets to the centerfold, and someone else ripped it out.
No, he is there. Sorry.
Oh, okay, good.
Her name is Silk Penny.
Okay.
and he's reading her questionnaire in her centerfold. You know these things? You know these questions, Kevin?
I found it interesting that you edit out how you refer to these centerfolds as hookers all the time. Yeah. You go, I picked up a magazine full of hookers.
George doesn't like that word.
I know. Oh, really? I didn't know
when
that.
I talk to him, he hates the word hookah.
George isn't here, is he?
When he's here, and I'm like, remember that show from the 80s with William Shatner called TJ Sex Worker? It's like,
right.
So anyway.
Yeah, so George, this will get edited out, but you're not here, and Tim has just been saying the H word like crazy.
George, the other host of Seddy Bimco, he loves this part where I read the turn-ons and turn-offs of Centerfold from 1964, George. So Kevin, 64.
George, Tim was telling me to call in sick to work tomorrow, and I said, but I'm not sick. And he just said, just play hooker. And I said, I don't think that's the term.
Yes.
Just as an excuse to use that word. So.
Play hooker.
Okay, so read this Playboy.
Silk Penny, her most proud moment. That time she went to Liverpool and met her favorite new band. Okay. Her biggest embarrassment, accidentally calling Mick Jagger Paul McCartney.
Oof.
Her biggest regret, telling Keith Richards he was her favorite Beatle. Her favorite song, Waiting on a Friend. Her least favorite activity, waiting on a friend.
Oof.
Guilty pleasure, daydreaming that Pete Best was never replaced by Charlie Watts in her favorite band.
She has to daydream. She can't actually.
Yes.
It's against the law.
She can't fall asleep.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, I think she liked the Rolling Stones. I don't think she liked the Beatles.
Thank you, Tim. That was a very Norm Macdonald explanation.
I'll cut that out.
Norm Macdonald.
Got to workshop that.
That's who would be in Star Trek.
That's right.
Yeah. His representation of comedy. Or Jay Leno. It could have been Jay Leno. Because he was never funny. So
I think Norm Macdonald should have been on the holodeck, and he'd be doing 9/11 jokes for Data, and Data would say, "Too soon, not funny."
That's good. I love Norm. R.I.P. once again.
R.I.P.
Okay. Anyway.
Well, the next day at school, the kids are hanging out, watching the janitor clean up, and they're just like, again, golly whiz, someone else got strangled.
Golly whiz.
What was her name?
G golly. Yes.
And the janitor is sweeping up, and he's like, "Kids, what are you going to do with the kids these days?" Famous song.
It's like, kids, what's the matter with these kids today?
I know. I thought he was going to start singing it.
Yeah.
So Mikey.
And he's like, "Hey, kid, clean that up." And the kid just drops it. And he goes,
know.
"Kids, never listen to a single thing you say. Why can't they be like I was? Perfect in every way."
I know.
And then he just stops there.
He's chasing dogs off the grounds, and all their tails are wagging because they couldn't CG it out back then.
That's right. What's the matter with dog tails today? Yeah. That's what he says.
So Mikey, he tells Betty another girl got killed, and they arrested Jimmy.
Mm-hmm. But it turns out Jimmy's innocent. It was
the janitor.
Singing janitor. Yeah.
Let's see. Betty tells Anderson, he's the homicide detective, that Jimmy didn't do it. I think he snuck out to see her again, right?
Yeah, homicide, as you
Homicide.
said.
That's when you eat.
Hummus.
You eat a lot of hummus.
Yes.
When there's hummus in the fridge and my wife comes home, it's all gone. She's like, "Damn it, you committed homicide again! I wanted some of that."
No, I figured homicide was when you're eating hummus, and then you're like, "Here, everyone, have some hummus." But then you have just a pocket full of hummus, and you're eating your own hummus on the side.
I guess so.
You're like, "I keep the good stuff for myself." Anyway,
so yeah, every time Jimmy goes out, there's a murder.
I bet he is the murderer.
Yes.
He's in the jail cell and he puts his hands on the bars and he said, "Oh, it feels like two tiny necks that I'm strangling right now." I mean, it's what the murderer would say.
The detective is outside reading a newspaper. I did freeze frame. I'm always interested. And this is what one headline was actually: committee finds that the three members of the something board are Democrats. That was like a headline in the paper.
So odd.
It is. Well, it's West Virginia.
Wait, do you think that was a paper that was made for this movie?
Oh yeah.
Or do you think it was a generic newspaper for movies?
No, it was real because down below it also said JFK's death ruled a suicide. See?
Died of natural causes. Yes.
So Jimmy and Curly, the bully, they actually get in a fight. They're gonna race, and Jimmy drops his bulldog jacket. He's like, "I don't want this anymore," because Marty picks it up, and she's like, "What? Golly gee whiz, you don't want it?" And the janitor breaks up the fight, by the way, because as we find out, he likes touching teenagers. He breaks up the fight, and
you're jumping ahead.
They're gonna race tomorrow at the drag strip, I guess. Mm-hmm. They play some jazzy music, yes, and a third girl just gets murdered out of nowhere. She just gets grabbed. It's quick. You blink, you miss it.
Yeah, I did. I have to mention, since you said music, most of the music does not seem to fit this movie at all.
Nope.
You mentioned
every time there's a murder, it's like dump, 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 dump.
Yeah, it's very.
There's
confusing.
no moody music.
Not at all.
They were blindsided. Beatles showing up. They were still listening to Elvis.
Okay. Blindsided. I thought you meant this movie was blindsided by how fantastic it was going to be and how popular it was going to be. The fact that 140 years later, Jesus, it's been over 60 years, hasn't it?
So now we're at the drag race. It's just like Grease. They start drag racing, not drag races.
That's an entirely different.
It's not a very exciting drag race. Because it's weird. Suddenly, Mikey is there on his bike, and they turn a corner. Yeah. You don't turn corners in drag races. You just go straight down the road.
Literally, what drag race means.
Yes, and they almost run over Mikey, and Jimmy gets out.
Bike.
Yeah, he stole a bike.
I just can't help it. Once I start, we're gonna have to leave another town again.
So Jimmy, what does Mikey tell Jimmy? He's like, you gotta come and see they found something. Isn't that what he says? Anderson found something. He wants you to come right down to the police station.
Yeah, I think it's a jacket without a patch, and then they're looking for the patch to either. Yeah.
So Jimmy stops the race and tells everybody Anderson found something at the police station. We got to go over there right now. And Curly's like, no, I don't want to go. And they don't know what they found. Jimmy says they found a jacket.
It's
bulldog jacket.
It makes Curly look very guilty.
But it does, but they turn on him like on a dime. They're like, you don't have your jacket. You're a serial killer.
Yep.
So, granted, Curly's a jerk, but so Curly runs away. He drives away and he crashes his car. Almost dies. I thought he was dead, but he's just on the ground.
Yeah.
And he's like,
oh, this car almost serial killed me. Yes. They were like, I don't think you know what serial killing means.
Yes. Betty says, I'm going to go to his locker and see if he's got his patch in his locker, because will prove he's innocent. Because he's saying he's innocent right now.
Yes.
And they're like, well, how will you know how to get into his locker? Do you have his combination? And she goes, no, I'm sure it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Because Curly's stupid. Right? Do you like that part?
Oof. Curly's sitting next to me right now as we're recording.
Is he?
Yeah, and he's not having it. So.
Anyway, she goes there, and Mr. Wilson surprises her. And right away, he's like overacting, like, he's the killer. Like, we knew he was the killer anyway, but.
They always do that in these movies where they get to the end scene and all of a sudden it's like they were normal up to this point, yes. And then they just can't contain their madness. Because she's like, it is here. He is innocent. And then she looks at him and goes, I want to go. Yeah, and then he starts telling his life story. Oh, yeah. He said that they said he touched a student. He was a teacher, right? Yeah. He used to be he hates those kids. He used to be a teacher, and they said he touched one of them. Yes, he hates kids these days. So what do they do with a man that touches teenage kids? Is too much? They give him they keep him around as but as a janitor. Yes, logically. So he goes from he touched a kid, and so we'll make him the janitor, mm-hmm. and that makes him turn into a murderer. Yes. Yep. And he tries to murder her. Yes. And luckily, Mr. Anderson and Marty and Jimmy, they're walking by and they hear her screaming. Luckily, his hands are so calloused from all the other murders that, he can't form. Did he have a scarf? He did, didn't he? That was his MO. So. He was getting his lipstick out. He had his lipstick between his teeth. She has an extra thick neck, so he unfortunately can't wrap his hands around it. And the police, Mr. Anderson, he just breaks the window open and starts shooting. Like she's right there next to him. That was great. Yes. Because there's this like low window, and it's just all of a sudden we just see him. Yeah, like not in the same scene. No, not in the same scene. Poke his gun in, and there's no indication that bullets are flying other than some sound effects. Oh no. The odds of him getting hit by the shot and her not getting hit, very, very, very slim. The whole thing was. That's why this is not an action film, not a horror film, not a thriller. This is a teen movie. Yep. Because the way this whole scene was filmed. He dies on the floor and they start singing Yipe Stripes. That's pretty much what happens. I'm not kidding. We do cut back to the diner and the Yipe Stripes. Yeah. And they're all sitting there, and Curly, our villain, he walks in on crutches and a bandage on his head. And he's like, hey, guys. Remember yesterday you thought I was a serial killer? Yeah, and then they're like, is that the scene where he's like, oh, you can have a drink on me. Okay, y'all can all have drinks. And then he says... And then something about dancing. Yes. Oh, and then he says, your name is Kirk. Yeah, right? Star Trek 3. Come on. You gotta leave it. I'm not going to explain it. You gotta leave in all the silence. Gotta be a Star Trek fan. Speaking of Star Trek, at the end of these episodes, I like to talk about how this movie is similar to Star Wars. You do. This was a tough one, but I found something. Okay, let's hear it. Just get over it. Remember in Star Wars that famous cantina song scene? No, I don't remember that. The song in the cantina scene, it's called Mad About Me. Did you know that? I bet you did. What kind of music is that, Tim? It's space music. No, there's an official in-universe name for that. Okay. I bet George would know. Let me get through this, and then you can tell me. Yeah. Well, if you rearrange the letters of Mad About Me, it spells Yipe Stripes. Don't think about that too hard. Just take my word for it. Yeah. Did you want to do... It's in Arabic. Yes. So, it translates in that way. George usually does... Labyrinth? Yes, but what movie did you do? Oh, Friday the 13th, right? No, I've never talked about Friday the 13th. You don't have to do this, but if you have a way. I would talk about Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, okay. That's what I meant. How is this like Nightmare on Elm Street? Well, in Nightmare on Elm Street, the kids of Springfield. Oh, what is his name? Springfield, where the Simpsons live? Yes, that's it. No, it's Springwood. Hold on, I gotta check. No, this is a non-checking show. Yeah, Springwood. I was right. They have to not fall asleep, otherwise Freddy will murder them. Whereas in this movie, they can't fall asleep on a train, otherwise
they get arrested.
Yes, they
Whoa.
get arrested. There you go.
Blew my mind.
Good.
Unless they wear those glasses and make it look like your eyes are open.
That's
Did
true.
those work on...
They work in Freddy, too.
Freddy?
Yeah. No, you're asleep, bitch. Wait a minute. Oh, are you asleep or I can't tell.
Wherever you are, wherever you're hiding, I'll find you.
Revenge. One of us will die. One of us will die.
Okay, so if only there was a revenge to this movie, yes.
Yes, George and I do revenge stories at the end of each of these episodes, and when Kevin's on, he doesn't do one. But I'll ask him who should be in this. But
lucky listeners.
I got a good one.
You only got to listen to one.
I got a good one.
I fade out by the time the second one
Play the
comes
music. Oh, you're going to be interested in this.
Okay, I'm listening.
So at the end of this movie, Curly, the bully, he's got his head wrapped in bandages.
Yes.
And he picked on Marty a lot in this movie. I just want to establish that. David Schwimmer. So in the sequel, what we find out is that Curly had amnesia.
I like that.
So Marty, the runt that he picked on, is going to get revenge on Curly.
Okay.
He decides to take advantage of his memory loss. Remember it's 1964?
Yeah, I don't have amnesia. So yes.
He tells Curly that they're best friends. And Curly had planned to take Marty to New York City so they could see the Ed Sullivan Show live. Because you know who's going to be on the Ed Sullivan Show?
Rolling Stones.
The Beatles.
Oh.
But Marty doesn't want to see the Beatles. He's a nerd. You know who else was on that episode? Fred Capps, the famous magician and 3 times Grand Prix world champion card magician.
I was just about to say it, and you cut me off.
Marty wants to go see Fred Capps live. He's waited his whole life to do this. So you see? Yeah, he's a huge Magic fan, this David Schwimmer lookalike.
Okay.
And he's also, the Beatles are going to be there too. So thus Marty tells Curly he's also a huge fan of Fred Capps, and they plan to drive there and see the show live. So they're pals now. So they go to Curly's house. They go up to his room and hang out. And Curly says, sorry, I just don't remember much about me. Maybe you could help me out. I'm going to see what's in my desk that'll jog my memory. So Curly looks in his desk, and he finds a notebook entitled, Ways I Love to Hurt Marty. And Curly asks, hey, what's this? And Marty gets nervous, and he says, well, you see, Fred Capp has a rival named Marty McDonald. So you draw these drawings about him. And so they open up the notebook. Curly opens up the notebook. He says, well, it looks like a drawing of me as a centaur having sex with you. And and Marty's like, no, that doesn't look like me at all. So Marty...
Yeah, you're right. I sure do like this story.
Marty's like, no, that's definitely not me. That's definitely not a picture of you as a centaur having sex with me. My face doesn't look like that when I cry. So then Curly opens up his closet, and there's an entire Nazi uniform with boots and everything in the closet. And Curly's like, what's this stuff? And Marty's like, well, I think you dressed up as a Nazi for Halloween last year. That's what happened. And Curly's like, what's a Nazi? I'm so confused. I don't know anything. And Marty doesn't want to rock the boat. And he says, well, they're just a group during World War II. We don't need to go over this. And I'll see you in a few days when you come pick me up, and we go to New York to see Fred Capps. So a few days later, Curly shows up in his car, dressed in his full Nazi outfit. And Marty's like, what's the deal? And Curly's like, come on, you want to see the Fred Capps or her 9? I love to see. I love these suits I found in my closet, and I dressed up for the occasion. And Marty's, what can he do now? He gets in the car and sighs.
He's like, which country are you from?
He sighs, gets in the car, and they have their 7-hour drive to New York. So they're driving. They have a 7-hour drive to New York, and of course they need to stop for lunch. Unfortunately, Curly spots a McDonald's by the side of the road, which Curly has no memory of. And Curly shouts, McDonald's, could this be the rival of the Fred Capps who steals his wonderful magic?
Because that's the last name that was on the notebook.
Yep. He thinks it's Marty McDonald. He sees these.
I get it.
Is this his magic restaurant franchise? And Marty shouts, no,
Wait,
no, it's...
Where does accent go?
It comes and goes.
Okay.
Marty shouts, no, it's a fast food place with a clown who can make french fries appear like magic. But with that, Curly hits the gas, he drives up to McDonald's, and before Marty can stop him, Curly storms into the fast food joint in his Nazi uniform and demands to see Marty McDonald. Marty's running behind him saying, I did not see this coming. Huh? Anyway.
I was waiting for that joke this entire time.
So, Curly even sees the unfortunate new item on the menu they're trying out called the matzo ball McSoup. And Curly's like, was ist dies madness? So luckily, the place was filled with World War II vets, and back in the 60s, America didn't like Nazis. People got to understand that. And believe it or not,
yikes.
They all,
the fact that you have to explain that.
They all beat the crap out of him. So Curly woke up in the hospital later. And Marty's sitting next to him in his bed. And the TV is on, so they can watch the Ed Sullivan Show. If they couldn't be there live, they could at least watch it live on TV. And Curly wakes up and he asks, who am I? What happened? Who is that on the TV? And Marty says, well, we're waiting for Fred Kapp, but the Beatles are on right now. And Curly says, what are they? And then Curly sees a notepad by his bed, and it says, ways I love to hurt the Beatles. And Curly says, what is this? And Marty says, well, it's in your pocket. I guess you really, hate the Beatles. And Curly takes the notepad and he opens it up, and there's a drawing of himself as a centaur having sex with Paul McCartney. The end.
Holy shit.
It's called Teenage Nazi.
Oh my God. Why would I like that story?
Well, he wakes up in the hospital, and Marty's like, I found that pad in your pocket. Ways I like to hurt the Beatles.
Okay.
So, hey, that's it.
The ice drives in that the latest fashion. The ice drives in that's the thing to wear. The ice drives in love with a passion. Even got that dirt things in my hair.
You have
Well
a letter?
done.
What, you want to check letters?
Yes.
You think there's a letter? Man.
Yes. If you say there's not, I know you're technically incompetent.
Well, there's no. I refreshed it.
Just look for Marcy's name.
She said she wrote one once before, and it never showed up.
Yeah, I think that's on you.
Not in spam. I'm so sorry, Marcy.
If you want to write into
Okay.
Seddy Bimco,
Hey.
send it. Yeah,
Yeah. You want to say it?
I was saying it.
If you want to write a letter, it's Seddy Bimco with an E at the end of that word at gmail.com. It's on our websites. And you can listen. You can watch us on YouTube, find us on Blue Sky, Reddit, Pixeled. Follow all these places. You can join the Discord. Not too many people. I feel bad. What if there were 1,000 people and at least 100 were there every day? I couldn't talk to you all.
No one wants to talk to you.
I couldn't.
They want all the good content that I post.
And me.
Okay,
I just posted some puppets in the Muppets column.
I saw
because
it.
Marcy of the movie Mixtape, she will not like that. I put puppets.
It looks horrific. It looks
It's
horrible.
a puppet. His name is Arbogast Caboose.
If I'm ever feeling too good about myself, I will watch the clip that you sent.
He explains the world of Lionel Trains. He's a little hobo puppet. Makes sense.
Is this something you grew up with and knew about?
I found this. I was like, look at this. Okay. This is bizarre. It's a hobo, and there's a policeman chasing him. And he introduces us to the world of Lionel Trains.
Is it an Irish policeman?
Yep, of course. He's drunk.
Oh, boy.
All right. Thanks for being here, Kevin. And next week, I don't know exactly what we're watching or what state. We have only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 states left. And we're going to pick one of those, and George is going to pick a movie, and it's a surprise movie. Let's say bye. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Bye for now. Ciao for now.
Come back, Yoli.
This has been a Pity Party Line production.
Party line, it's a party
The good part. Yeah.
I think when they were driving in his car, he looked in his glove compartment, and there was a notepad, ways that I like to hurt JFK. He's like, "What's this?" And he opened it up, and it was a picture of Curly as a centaur having sex with JFK. Having sex with Marilyn Monroe. That's what.
Ooh,
that would hurt JFK.
Yes. Yeah. What about the notebook that said ways you liked that he likes to hurt Bat and Spider? There you go. That's the part you left out.